I didn't pop shots for a reason. I was just getting off that fucking game, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm getting tired, but I'm not that tired. I just need to get the fuck off a story-based game and hop on a game like this.
Watch every shadow.
See, I don't want to play as her, but she's the only one I know. And she was my main in the second game. I don't really play the first game a whole lot, but the second game I have a shit ton of stuff in. But I'm just gonna run her because I know how to actually play her.
Come on down, will ya? Hark at you. What news?
You know, something that sucks is this runs better on my PC that can hardly run BO1. If I get the graphics settings right enough, it'll run smoother. Which is really sad thinking about it, but that's why I wish like the newer consoles actually had graphics options. I mean, it's motion blur make it better. Nah, it really doesn't. I don't know, I find that so fucked. With like PC optimization, you can run so much more on so much less. Don't get me wrong, like I said, the graphics look like shit. Like these are way better than I'd get on my PC, but I take the FPS any day, dude. Anyway, we're just gonna see if I can find a game. I usually can on PlayStation. I'm not sure why. Like whenever I hop on an Xbox or even on Steam or through Steam, can never find a game. But I'm not saying I'll find a game this time. I probably won't. But like out of any console, PlayStation's the one to find them on. Same thing with like Payday 2. You can't find a fucking game worth shit on Payday 2, Xbox 360, and Xbox One and Series X and S. PS5 version or PS4 version on PS5. Fucking found a game in like 2 minutes, dude. I mean, yeah, 2 minutes isn't impressive, but it's good enough. I don't want to be the host. Wait, hold up. Yeah, I was trying to find a host, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Thomas at 2 o'clock. Fuck, I need to hurry up on this fucking bottle. Jesus. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, I work at 4:30. That leaves me at least till 12 to wake up, but still, I'm not that buzzed. I'm more baked than anything. And I've drinking about, whatever, half of 12.5% of it so far. 12.5% of a 1140.
content with burying him in the castle, the Skaven are also setting up walls nearby. I don't even want to think of what they plan to start. Tear them down and kill everything in your way.
Do not take this step. Men have prepared.
Time to pull the drapes on this rocky side through, Dory.
Just gonna wait here for a sec, see if I can,
No more debating me,
oh, I need to take F1 off, but I'm just gonna wait here for a sec,
disease.
see if anyone else will join. By the way, I can't hear myself speaking, so unless I do what I'm doing now, which I'm taking taking one headphone off. I just popped 2 more shots. I don't know how many shots I'm at now, but I'm half of that 25% down. Or I'm half of the 50% down, so I'm 25% down. 1140, which isn't like too bad. Obviously, I can still talk just fine. It doesn't seem like anyone else is gonna join. Well, I mean, obviously he's here fucking just sitting here, so I know no one else joined. And I can see the names at the bottom, but fuck. I can change the name of the broadcast while doing it, can't I? I wonder if I can. Let's see, I'm on my computer right now. Don't want to do that. No, I can't edit it while it's gone, so this is gonna have to be a full broadcast of Vermintide, I guess. By the way, yeah, sorry it took me so long on the last broadcast. I was fucking trimming the stash. It's like right up in my fucking lip, and I was like, yeah, fuck that, so trimmed it down a little bit. Kind of fucked it up, kind of didn't. Looks alright. Don't look great, but looks fine. That was something I'm curious about, right? Why did humans stop growing hair everywhere else, pretty much? Like, don't get me wrong, like, guys and shit, so we still get, like, chest hair. Women's, like, we all still get, like, armpit hair. Like, women, guys, we all still get pubic hair. Women, guys, fucking, but guys, they still get chest hair, back hair, leg hair, arm hair. I guess women do, too, but they, like, keep theirs down. Like, they wax it or trim it or both, or neither sometimes. But like men get it to a higher extent, right? Because more testosterone in your blood and shit, but or DNA, but I think the same thing. I don't know. Like, why do we keep hair on our face? Like, I've seen a couple of girls that can grow like mustaches and shit, like mustaches, beard. I've seen a couple of women with a fucking beard. I mean, they were like conditions or like disformations, or I don't know what you call them. They were, I think conditions, I don't know. But, yeah, why do we keep facial hair and, like, kind of lost hair everywhere else? It doesn't make any sense. What did facial hair do for us when we were, like, primates? That's something I can never figure out. Oh yeah, and Greek women had unibrows. Like, most Greek women had unibrows, and if they didn't, they'd draw the middle in. Like paint or something. Like, what the fuck, dude? That shows that even, like, civilizations 2,000-3,000 years ago, they still... I don't know, I think that was more of a tradition, though. That was more their culture than anything. I don't get it, man. A lot of history I don't understand. I think it'd make more sense if you were there, but I don't know. I know a lot about history from like the Sumerians 8,000 years ago, 6,000 BC, all the way to modern day. Like, I know about the Sumerians, then the ancient Egyptians, which the Egyptians were the first ancient, like the first known ancient civilization. Or I guess not the first known, but the first built, like the first actual civilization, the first thing we'd consider a civilization. Don't get me wrong, like the Sumerians were a big community, and I think they had some type of military for their time. And the Sumerians created the idea of the priests having the say in the society. Before kings and everything, the priests were the ones that would, like, give the word from God and all that shit. So religion's built deep into humanity. Like, ever since, like, 6,000 years before Christ, and people were following religion to build society up. They were the spiritual world, the word from God. Which is kind of how you know God doesn't exist, because it's the most human thing to want to believe in a God. And God was the only way we understood the world at the time, and honestly, I think God's the only reason why we advanced so far, is because our image of God, our image of something that created the world and all that, that's what separated us from, like, different animals and shit. And we were also the most creative, which obviously we made tools, society, fuck, we made currency, bro, we made paper. We were the most most artistic, too. We had, like, cave drawings and shit from, like, 50,000 years ago. Actually, we had them from way before. Even the Homo erectus, they were making tools. And they were 300,000 BC, I think. 300,000 years ago, pretty much. The Homo erectus were around. And before them, I think we were just monkeys. And I think before that, we were lizards that evolved into monkeys. That's why monkeys have such long tails, but these they weren't actual lizards. Or we weren't technically actual lizards, but I'm guessing we evolved fur on land. Because we used to be like sea lizards back when nothing really lived on land. Then we moved to land, became fucking like these lizard things, like these lizard mammals. And then we became monkeys at some point. I'm guessing we became these lizards that like crawled in trees and shit because it was safer from predators. And then we became monkeys like over like 2-3 million years, or maybe way longer than that. Probably way longer than that. Because we've been monkeys for about 4 or 5 million years. But even then, for about 10 million years, like 15, like 10 to like 30 million years ago, we would have been in this weird transition from lizards to monkeys. But like, I pretty much know how humanity, like, why the fuck am I talking about this, man? You know what, something to do while someone else joins. If someone else joins, I'm gonna go look for another match, though, just in case. But like, yeah, no, anyway. Go from the monkeys down to cavemen, down to Homo sapiens, which is like 150,000 years ago. I think Homo sapiens were in, like, man, there's a lot of Neanderthal blood in humans too. Like, Neanderthals are still around. They were more like I think Homo sapiens, they were more creative. Neanderthals were more built, faster, better stamina. They were smaller, more compact. And I think they had tools before Homo sapiens. Out of the Homo sapiens, we were last in line for like the Homo gene, but I think that's because we were the most evolved ones. Which, I mean, clearly we were. But yeah, you go from like 10,000 years ago, even like 12,000 years ago, like 10,000 BC. Like Far Cry Primal doesn't have it like too far off. We had like little villages at that point. From like 50,000 years ago, humans started settling down, started making these like semi-permanent settlements around like lakes and rivers and seas and shit. Fuck, I forgot to skip that. Just because it was more efficient for us. Instead of hunting all the time, we could just sit there and fish. Or we could sit there and, like, farm berries or something. And then farming became a thing around 10,000 years ago, or 12,000 years ago. So around 10,000 BC, I think, is when we started making farming. And that's when we had, like, these semi-permanent settlements turn into permanent settlements. And then when they were, like, our settlements and our groups and our villages and shit were worth protecting, we started making, like, older versions of like modern military, where we'd have like groups of mercenaries with like bows and spears, maybe some form of axe, but like just mainly blunt weapons. And then like that's how we'd battle, but it would only be small villages against each other. At the very most, it'd be 40 or 50 humans fighting at once. Nothing too spectacular. But when the Sumerians rolled around, that's when we actually like had like names for like our version of the army at the time, like the group of people that protect the village. And like I said, there was no kings or queens back then. There was just the pretty much the priest. During the Sumerian times, from like 6,000 to 4,000 BC, it was the priest that I'd say, the word from God. Which, I mean, obviously didn't have a word from God, but these priests back then, they were raised from the wealthier side of society. So, like, the ones best off in the society, they'd make these, like, they'd raise their children to be priests and take the priest's place whenever they were gone. So, I mean, humans have always been run by the rich, obviously. Just older versions of it. But they've always been ran by religion, weirdly. Like, I'm still surprised religion's a thing. Like, bro, we know religion doesn't exist. But people don't want to accept that. God doesn't exist. Jesus doesn't exist. Well, okay, that's not true. Jesus himself actually probably did exist in the time. And he probably did get crucified. That's most likely a real part of the Bible. But this part about him being the word from God and all this shit, or the son of God or whatever, and then the Quran says their version of Jesus like he was a messenger or something. I don't know, it's all fucked. People just use this one guy that claimed he was something he obviously wasn't. But because of the time they lived in, they probably believed it. And you know, maybe this guy had a reason to believe he was the word from God. Maybe this guy, Jesus Christ, at the time, maybe he had a reason to believe he was the son of God. Maybe his life was so bizarre at the time that the only way you could explain it was, I'm literally God. Maybe you survived some miraculous event or something, but... And you know, maybe he did walk on water, just not in the way people actually see it. Like, clearly he didn't actually walk on water for the time. Dude wasn't God, but... Maybe it's just the way people seen it or heard of it back then that kind of spread it out. And the Bible was written over, I heard, over like a couple hundred years or something. And then King James, which is the one I have, or had, don't get me wrong, I don't got that no more. But, like, I'm not a Christian, obviously not. I respect Christianity to an extent, only because Christianity is the reason why modern society exists. If you go back far enough, like, if it wasn't for the Christians, the Muslims would have taken over Europe, and we would have been in a very dark world right now with no technology. And don't get me wrong, the Christians were technically the wrong ones in the Crusades. Like, I will admit, like, as a white European descent, the first time when we attacked, I think the first crusade was when we went after Jerusalem. We attacked it, we won, we took Jerusalem, but then I think before the second crusade, the Muslims took it back because there wasn't strong enough control. And then in the second to, like, what was it, 7th crusade or something, the 2nd to the 10th, I don't know, there's a lot of crusades, man. But the rest of the crusades were just Christians in later times trying to recreate the first crusade and take back Jerusalem, take back the Holy Land. You can look by modern day, we never took that back. Jerusalem is now run by Jews and inhabited by Jews and Muslims, which is how it's been for the past, around 800 years. I think the last crusade was in 1200, so maybe 1,000 years, honestly. I think the first crusade might have been the 11th century. I don't exactly know the dates, but in all fairness, though, because we kept attacking Jerusalem, it gave the Muslims a defending point, and we kept them from invading Europe. And it doesn't take a genius to know that Muslims are the most violent group on the planet. Their whole religion's a cult. So is Christianity. Every religion's a cult. But Muslims specifically, the things I've heard a lot of Muslims say, like the majority of Muslims say, is they are told to terrorize their neighbors, hence the name terrorist, and why every modern terrorist has been a Muslim so far. Not every modern, I will admit, not every terrorist, but even every terrorist that wasn't Muslim was given orders by a Muslim, so do what you want with that. But no, those people are so stupid. Like, their IQ is so low. On average, too. Like, Muslims and Arabs, they are probably the most retarded group on the planet. I would give Africans that title, but in all fairness, black people have done way better for the planet than Muslims ever could dream of. And the thing is, there's a lot of good black people on the planet modern day. There's a lot of bad ones, but those are the people that came from a violent society to start off with, so do you blame them for the lifestyle they know? Like, the only life they know? Or do you blame their surroundings? And don't get me wrong, the whole countries are filled with black people, but it's the same thing throughout all of history, right? It's the higher-ups that corrupt the entire population. So you can't really blame every person from those countries. And I'm not coming at black people either. One of my, like, I'm not going to bring that up, but don't get me wrong, I fucking hate Muslims. I despise Muslim men. Muslim women, on the other hand, they're not, most of them are just forced into it. They don't have a choice. A lot of them are married off at 12 years old. Oh, and that's not even the youngest either. The Prophet Muhammad, from what I've heard, his wife was 6. Just think about that for a minute there. The guy every Muslim follows, their wife was 6 years old. That's why I despise Muslims. They're the only reason wrong with this world. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, there's black Muslims too. But let's be real here, the black people had their own culture before the Muslims and white people invaded their lands. So they were kind of forced into Christianity and Islam. So that's why I'm not pinning the black people as the victims or anything, but they're not the enemy. The only people wrong with the modern world are the Muslims and the rich in the West. Because, I mean, Trump's a pedophile too. He's literally no different than Muhammad. He mouth-fucked a 13-year-old, or mouth-raped a 13-year-old, probably multiple, and his wife is involved. Donald Trump, by the way, the American president, is a fucking, he's a registered pedophile now. Or probably not registered, I'm sure they took that down right away. But, yeah, that's the world we live in right now. So, just, like I said, do what you want with that. And just real quick, look at the ties between America and Israel. It doesn't take a genius to understand that. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not no fucking liberal either, but I'm not retarded. Right? A lot of Republicans and conservatives, they deny the truth, just like a lot of leftists and liberals do. They deny the truth. Both sides deny the truth. If you're too political, you'll deny the truth and better of your side, like in the better image of the side you're on. You'll deny the truth that defies that, which is why it's a big problem to be too political on either side. And that's why you gotta see the faults with the system as a whole. Like, I don't see myself as left or right wing. I don't see myself as a part of that system. The whole system's fucked, and it always will be until we take it out. But everyone at modern day is a fucking pussy. No one wants to be the first one. Luigi Mannioni, what did he do? Shoot a healthcare CEO out in public in New York? I don't know why I said in the New York. But yeah, he shot a healthcare CEO, right? The one that, from what I heard, it was his wife, his sister, his mom, whatever the fuck. They denied someone healthcare and they ended up getting hurt by it, so he shot them in the head like someone he knew. Or he got denied healthcare, but something like that by that company. So he did the only right thing he could do. He killed the guy that was responsible for fucking over millions of Americans and causing the lives of probably thousands. It's the only logical explanation of what he did, right? And I don't blame the guy. I would have done the same fucking thing, except I would have been smarter about it. Because, I mean, shooting a guy in public right in front of a camera isn't the brightest idea. I would have... I'm not going to say what I would have done, because I might still do it, but... there's definitely better ways to go about it. But either way, right? He did that, and no one stood up for him. I'm pretty sure he's still on death row as we speak. I don't. From what I know, he isn't executed yet, but he's en route to be, and no one is standing up for him. There's no protests for him. There isn't no, like, what do you call it? Like, signatures, like, fuck, I don't know what they're called, but, like, people aren't doing anything for him. People are just gonna sit there and watch this man die. A man that was doing better for the entire, like, the whole American society, right? And, I mean, don't get me wrong, Canada's fucked up too, and I live in Canada, but America's the biggest issue with the West right now. They are the biggest, the biggest country to set an example for the West, and they are not setting a good example, you know what I mean? And also, too, they're supposedly the most powerful country in the world. If the most powerful country in the world can't keep itself together, how are we supposed to defend against the East? And don't get me wrong, the East isn't doing anything to us. And honestly, I agree with communism more right now than the West. Because we've seen how socialism and democracy have turned out for us. Not too good. Our countries are getting invaded by fucking millions. Like, I've seen in Spain, right? Dude, the amount of fucking Nigerians, like black Muslims, fucking Indians I've seen ambushing their borders, fucking millions of them just crawling out of the beaches, man. That's the example of socialism and democracy right there for you. And the thing is especially with democracy itself, socialism doesn't work because you can't even everything out equally. It doesn't work, and we've seen it with every socialist country so far. Every one of them is falling apart while Russia and China are just getting stronger. Don't get me wrong, their countries are more strict. You can't really attack the government, but at the same time, look at China. They're probably the most advanced country on the planet. Don't get me wrong, they're the most polluted too, but it equals out, right? And what's the West doing for pollution? Electric cars? That's just causing as much pollution in a different way. No, it's a way for Elon to make money because he's dick in hand with Donald Trump, right? Like, fuck. No, just the only thing I can say is look at communism and look at socialism and democracy. Look at the comparison between the three and tell me which one looks better. I would much rather move to Russia than stay in Canada. 100%. And the reason why I chose Russia is because, like, it's the closest I can get to Canada for communism, and Russia's so like one of the more better off countries. And they're, from what I've seen of their people, and I've met a lot of Russians too, they obviously came from a rougher lifestyle, a rougher background, but they're still human regardless, right? And they're good people, man. Most of them are good people. They're just like us, but they grew up with different beliefs, and they grew up with the sight of the Western society being corrupt. Because look at their countries compared to ours. Like, I'm gonna keep saying that, but like, man, all of our Western countries, we are controlled by the media. Media like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. There's a reason why those don't exist in the same form in communist countries as they do over here. And that's because they don't want that shit over there. They don't want their people being corrupt by Western media bullshit. Just all it is companies trying to make money by keeping your attention on these apps. And that's what fucked everyone over. That's why Gen Z was the first generation to be dumber than the generation before, which was millennials. Millennials are smarter than Gen Z on average. Just think about that. I wouldn't consider myself dumber than most millennials. I know I'm smarter than most Gen Z, and that's because I don't spend my time on fucking TikTok. but it's also because I actually use my brain to do something where I'm trying to do something with my life, I guess. Not really because I passed up on my only chance to get a high school diploma, but at the same time, I didn't want a high school diploma. I mean, I didn't care to get one, but the way I see it is I want to work on music, writing, and making the story I'm working on. So if I focus on that, like, okay, so this is my school's thing, right? Hold on. I'm going to fuck with my music here for a second. So with my school, right, normal classes, it's 7 hours straight of normal classes. You're in class all the time. You only have time for schoolwork, right? Adult diploma in Canada is the equivalent of a PG, what was it called? Holy fuck, man, what was it called? A GED. So the adult diploma in Canada is equivalent to a GED, right? With my last year of high school, if I work on music and my writing for the last year, and this is what I want to do for my life, the streams of what I'm doing right now is just shit on the side, like I'm getting drunk tonight, or I'm trying to. I got a little bit of buzz on, but no, the thing is, with the GED, I can still go in the trades, and I only wanted to go in trades. A high school diploma wouldn't have changed anything. It wouldn't have changed my path. I only wanted to go into the trades. I didn't want to go to university. I didn't want to lock myself into the fucking system, you know what I mean? I will never work my entire life. My life isn't that long, and I've been working 2 jobs throughout high school so far, and it's not fun. I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna work the rest of my fucking life. I will never work a 9 to 5. I would rather be homeless. And that is why I never cared to get a high school diploma. It's not the fact I was lazy to get it, it's the fact I didn't see a point in getting it. The lifestyle I want to live will not benefit from a high school diploma. And I don't want to be locked into the system either. I'd rather go off grid, do my own shit in the woods. I know how to survive on my own. I don't want to. It's a lot of fucking work, but I would if I had to. I'd rather build my own cabin in the woods than try to afford a $2 million average house in Canada, which are given to the immigrants for free because they have fucking work visas that they don't use. But that's a whole different story. Oh, all I can tell you is that's the reason why our country's fucked. Oh, and Carney just admitted that that's the reason why Canada's fucked. He just admitted that, knowing it's been a problem for the past 6 fucking years. But now they admit it, right? Like, I don't know why the Liberals are still in office. I mean, the Liberals have the most control. They control the media, and that's what gives them... You control the media, you control the majority of the people's perspectives on you, right? That's all you need to win the vote. Majority of Canadians are liberal. And I hate to say that because, look, like I said, I don't see myself on either end of the political spectrum. I don't see myself as left-wing, right-wing, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat. Like, I don't see myself as any of that shit. Because I know no matter what side I'm on, the whole system is broken. Right? It doesn't matter what you believe in for the system. It's all going to be the same shit, different toilet, right? So, but I did a couple things online, and my ideas match up more with left-wing libertarian than anything. So technically, I'm a left-wing if I had to place myself in the spectrum. But I don't know. The problem is people place themselves too politically, not realizing that we're all just human and that this is a system that controls us no matter what side you're on. That's why I hate left-wing and right-wing fighting, because it's like we have a common enemy. The communists and socialists and Democrats, they all had a common enemy in World War II, and look how that worked out. We won. We fucking won. That's why the media is trying to divide us in modern day. That's why they're trying to get black people pinned against white people. That's why 250,000 rape cases of black and Muslim men against white girls in the UK, 250,000 were covered up by the government because they didn't want a revolution starting. They've been trying to incorporate, whatever the fuck you call them, these Africans that come from these third world countries and have an IQ 30 points lower than the average in the UK. They've been trying to put these people in their society for so long for the idea of equality, when in reality we're not equal. We don't come from the same country, and there's a reason why they come from a third world and we come from a first. Although the UK is moving away from a first world country real quick. I wouldn't even call it that anymore. Go look at London. Fuck. And like I said, I don't hate black people. I don't even hate all Muslim men. I've still met a couple nice ass fucking Muslims, pure hearted. Like, they truly believe in that shit, but they don't push it. You know what I mean? Like, they're pure hearted people. I'm like, I don't hate them. Like, I wouldn't consider myself racist. I just understand the situation. And most people are scared of being called racist because they see the patterns and realize that if they say anything about it, then the people they're saying it against are going to call them racist. Like, Muslims cause the most problems in the world. That's not a racist statement. That is factual. Go look it up. That is factual. In the United States, black people commit more crimes than white people. That is factual. It's not racist to say something like that. And not like this is going to prove anything, but one of my best buddies I've ever fucking had. One of the buddies I was closest to. One of the buddies I would fucking die for. He was from Nigeria, but he was one of the more well-off. He had a British accent, by the way. A British English accent. So he grew up with a proper education, and I think that's why me and him got along well, is because he was from the better part of a bad country. And I wouldn't even consider Nigeria a bad country. It's one of the better countries in Africa. And I mean, fuck, the United States is still a violent country, but that's still considered a first world country, right? But like, you see what I mean, though, right? Pointing out patterns, and it's not racist to see pattern recognition. And that's what a lot of white people are bringing up in modern day, is pattern recognition. Because it's true. Black people are committing so many crimes in the West now. And it's not the black people that have been here. It's not the black people that have placed themselves in our society. It's the black immigrants coming from these third world countries that literally don't know any better. That is their life. They think what they're doing is okay, and they think that in their mind they are justified for what they're doing. Because in their countries back home, they would have been fine doing it. It is all those people, and not all of them are black, but I hate to say it, if they're coming from Africa, 90% of them are black. 90%, at least. I don't even know why I'm talking about this shit. Like, I seriously don't remember why. I think I just wanted to ramble on about something. But yeah, anyway, that's my side on politics. Yeah, like I said, if you want to call me racist against Muslim men. That's it. Not Arab men. Not Arab. Muslim. The religious ones. Don't get me wrong, I've met a lot of great Arab guys. Pure-hearted, fucking do anything for anyone, like, always do the right thing, man. Always sticking up for people. Like, I met a lot of fantastic Arabs, man. It's the Muslims that are a fucking problem. And that's because they're the more stupid Arabs, right? They're the Arabs with Muslims are the Arabs with a lower IQ. And that's why they believe in Islam. Because they don't care to look outside the box. They'll just believe whatever a book and some random guy tells them to believe, instead of seeing the world around them for what it truly is. And let me tell you right now, if you don't believe everything I'm saying, smoke weed for a year, come back to me, and then tell me. Because weed makes your mind 10 times more open. It'll make you see things for how they truly are. Just come back to me and tell me how you see shit then. Because I'm telling you right now, like I said, like, I've even met a couple of nice, like, pure-hearted Muslim men, but it's hard to find. I mean, the only Muslim women I met were kind of cunts, but that's not really a story of culture or nothing. I think that was just them in particular, so I'm not going to bring it up. But, yeah, no, they always had, yeah, never mind. I'm not going to keep going about that because that has nothing to do with Islam. They were just, it was just them. But anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about this shit. This is this is getting too out of hand. Hold on. No one's joining, by the way. It's like 2 in the morning. It's 2:40 in the morning. Fuck, I need to pop more shots. Like I said, I work at 4:30. I'm gonna see if I can finish this bottle. So I'll be drinking half of it 11:50, 11:40. So how much is that? Hold on, I'm gonna do the math. So 570. If I drank half, and I was literally at a perfect half of the bottle. So if I drink half of this, that's 570 milliliters of 40% whiskey I went down the night. And I'm sure by that ramble, y'all could figure that out. Also, too, something I didn't mention a lot was Indians. And I'm gonna be honest with you here, whoever's watching, like, even though I live in Canada, even though Indians, they are a big problem here, they're not the ones we need to be concerned about, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, they're becoming a problem. There's a lot of them here without any jobs, and they're taking up a lot of our resources, but they're not the issue. Because think about this. You're an Indian man. You're in your 30s. You have a wife. You have 3 kids. Your life sucks in India. Think about it. You're living in some... I don't know what they live in there, like, I don't know, let's say you're living at a shack or something, right? But then the Canadian, but because you were, India was a part of the, whatever you call it, like they're part of the British Empire at one point, that they can move to Canada, right? And get benefits. You can move to another country and get paid for being there. You put yourself in their position. And you know what? If I was in their position, I would have done the same fucking thing. That's why we need to go at our government instead of the Indians, right? Because, yeah, there's a lot of them moving here, but honestly, I can't lie to you. The only ones I've met so far are good people. They were nice. They didn't speak a lot of English. You could tell they were new. And don't get me wrong, I hate seeing a lot of immigrants come into this country when our own country can't even provide for its own citizens as far. So bringing more in that we already can't provide for, that's just taking more tax dollars from the people and giving it directly to them. That's not going to solve the problem. That's just going to make it bigger on a longer scale, if you know what I mean. But no, I don't blame them. And they're not, I haven't really seen any violent Indians. That's the thing. Some of them, yeah, they have. I met some that have a fucking attitude on them. They wouldn't harm anyone, though. They might slap someone in the fucking face. That's about it. Like, they wouldn't kill anyone. Like, they're not the ones. That's why I say Muslims are the biggest issue in the world right now, because they're the violent ones. Because they believe from their little book of Quran that it's alright to terrorize everyone that doesn't believe in their religion, everyone that doesn't believe in their cult. And don't get me wrong, Christians, they used to do the same thing. I mean, fuck, residential schools were a big thing in Canada. And the government, yeah, the government's trying, but I'm doing air quotes right now, trying to make up for it. They haven't. You can't make up for all the bad you've done. You took thousands, probably millions of native kids, threw them in these schools, and in Ontario, just one of the schools was found with 500 dead kids underneath it. You can't just say sorry for that and move on. You can't just pay the relatives and move on. No. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying natives should have all the rights in the world, because that would go wrong real quick for any group of people. Obviously, there has to be restrictions on everyone to an extent, which is why we have laws, because humans are naturally violent and they don't care if there's no consequences, so you gotta make consequences. But we need to do more for them than we are already doing. And don't get me wrong, I understand the whole concept of colonization and all of this bullshit, but just think about this, right? The French were the first ones in North America. They joined up with the natives to fight the British, and they lost. To an extent, they have, Quebec, I guess. They have northern New Brunswick, too. But I don't know, I'd say the French did the right thing, because, don't get me wrong, the natives, they were violent against each other. That's something no one else will say. I mean, a couple other people will say, but like one of my buddies, he has native descent, and even I'm 12.5% native. I have a great grandfather which was full native, but I'm not gonna go around saying I'm like indigenous and shit, because I'm not. Most of my bloodline is British, German, and Norwegian. And I'm also albino, which makes me white as fuck, so I look like I'm from Northern Europe. So I wouldn't call myself native, but a lot of native tribes, man, they fucking like my buddy Tyson, right? He is native descent, and the tribe he's from wiped the whole of the tribe off the map. Completely killed every one of them, talking kids and all. You might be able to go look it up too. It was in Newfoundland, Labrador, Northern Quebec, PEI maybe, and what was it, Yukon Northwest. I don't remember what else. There's 3 territories now, I only remember 2. What was it, Yukon Northwest Territories, and I actually can't remember the third one. The one that's directly to the left of Quebec on top. But anyway, yeah, no, we could have done better with the natives. I don't know why the fuck we try to throw them in schools and try to push them in our culture. Like, that's just fucked. And the British were heavily using their use of their excuse of Christianity to push all this bullshit on the people. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't agree with the Crusades, but I agree with the fact that we kept Islam out of Europe. That was a better idea, and that's why Europe became the most modern civilization in, like, today. Besides Asia. Asia was also right beside us, if not ahead of us. Because Asia, think about it, they were the first ones to make printers, paper, they were the first ones to make currency, banks. They have the strongest, or the longest standing country, which is China, or the longest standing dynasty, however you want to look at it. Or no, there's multiple different dynasties. The longest standing country. They have the longest standing dialect, I'm pretty sure, that's still being used in modern day by 1 billion people, or something like that, which I think is kanji. But yeah, I'd say besides China, like China and the British were the 2 most advanced civilizations so far. 100%. 100%. I mean, yeah, the Romans would have equaled up to the British, so if you want to count Egyptians, Romans, and we're counting for the time, not compared to modern day, for the time. Egyptians, Romans, British, and China, Egyptians, Romans, Chinese, and the British, because the Chinese came out way before the British. Fuck. I'd say they came out 1,500 years before the British. Okay, I don't know why the fuck I started talking about history, but anyway, I'll be right back. And I'm not going to keep talking, trust. I'll just say this to conclude everything I was talking about. Trust your own research, deny the media. That's all I gotta say to sum up everything I was pretty much saying. Do your own research about everything you're uncertain about, and even everything you are certain about that you might have learned off the media and you think is a trusted source. It's not a trusted source. Do your own research. And do your own research depending on what you're searching up and how deep it goes and how much it would affect the government for you and millions of other people knowing. Do it privately. Do it without any of your files showing up in the government documents. But that's all I gotta say. Anyway, I'm gonna take another shot and all that. Maybe take another 2 shots. 3 o'clock. I work at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow, and I have a good amount of the bottle left, so I'm gonna see if I can finish this off. But it's been almost like 40 minutes, 50 minutes since I've done a shot, so I've given my body some time. Like, I'm not straight up popping shots. I'm not an alcoholic. That might be a lie. I mean, I'm 17. I can't be an alcoholic. I don't think. Oh, I don't know. I drink more than I should, but I wouldn't count myself an alcoholic because I'm not I don't want to say I'm addicted to it. I don't think that'd be the right word for it because I'm not. It's not life or death. Like, I'm not gonna seize out without it. I seen this one guy who drank for like 20 years and he shook in the morning without having a shot. But then he'd take like 6 shots and that'd be fine for him. But he had to keep drinking to stay alive. And I mean, I could see that too. Like, alcohol withdrawals, depending on how long you're drinking and how much your body depends on it, it will literally kill you if you stop. And that's why you got to be careful with it, man. That's why I try to drink at the very least every 4 other days. Or, I mean, sometimes a week in a row, but every 4 other days in between. Gotta give my kidney sometime, or my liver, kidney, whatever the fuck, sometime to recover. I think liver, but whatever. Oh, I'm trying to do shit on my computer right now real quick. Okay, so now I can't hear myself speaking, so I'm just gonna talk at this tone and hope it's alright. Because I have my headphones blasting, and I can't hear anything through